This
AEM course.
conference will now be recorded.
So all these are the AEM topics that we'll be learning. So first concept would be is like what is the introduction to like why like how do you get into AEM? So what's the introduction? So what's the main base for AEM? So that we'll just come across and then and I'm Anuradha like yesterday over there, but Nidhi and Gupta was not there yesterday. So I'll just give a brief first thing for the topics that we're going to cover, and then later we'll get into AEM introduction, and then I'll let you understand like how do you set up your local installation. So we'll cover these
Sure.
topics. Okay.
Okay,
And
no problem.
yeah, so these are the topics that we'll come across in our sessions day by day. So first thing today, we'll be covering point number 1 and point number 2, which is introduction to AEM. Along with that, we also have a AEM local setup installation. So how do you set up your local instance in your computer? So that we will just set up, and after that, we'll just know how to log into AEM, and I'll just explain you like how to navigate to different consoles in the tool. So we'll just let different areas, we'll just call it as a consoles in the AEM terminology. So let's say CRXT is one like CRXT backend console, or website is like websites console, tools console. So something like that, we'll just name it as a console. So the tool. And after that, the fourth topic would be is like we will go over the versions, like how many versions like AEM is having. So what was the starting version? So that we'll just explain. And like Anuradha, you asked me before, right? So types of UIs, how many UIs you have, and what's the UI that you're using? How do you differentiate between touch and classic? So all those topics we'll just cover as a part of number 4. And topic number 5 would be is like every instance, AEM instance is having two instances. Like one is author and the other one is a publisher. So what is the use of author and what's the use of publisher? How do you get your changes to publisher? How do you do your activities in the author instance? And all this we'll just get into that. And after that, we also have one more concept called dispatcher. So dispatcher is basically a load balancing tool for AEM, which protects AEM server from different kind of attacks. So that is also one of the very important topic. So we will get into dispatcher as well when you're talking about topic number 5. And after that, moving on to the next concept, topic number 6. Whenever you wanted to create a page in AEM, you definitely need a template. Okay, so using a template only, you will be able to create your page. Without using template, yes, we can create, but how can we create? How do we create that? That we'll just check in our classes. But template is a main base for creating a pages in AEM from the websites console. So how do you navigate to your projects? So how do you navigate your projects and how do you start creating a page? So for that, we'll just know like how do you create a page in AEM, and after that, how do you copy a page from one place to other place in AEM? So how do you delete a page in AEM? So how do you move a page in AEM? So all those functionalities we'll just cover. And after that, covering of page creation, page deletion, page copy, page move. After that, we will just get into the main topic, that is component author. So in the component, after creating a page, you will just author the components in your pages. So for that, how do you add a component on the page? So how do you configure it, and how do you delete a component, and how do you copy and paste the component? So how do you test the component in multiple breakpoints? So if you wanted to verify that in different breakpoints like iPhone, Android, tablet, mobile, so how do you do that? So that will just come to know. And there is also one more concept of versioning in AEM. So this is mainly one of the thing used for content authors. So we'll just get into that versioning in AEM as well. And after that, ninth topic would be is like a very important topic, I would say, in AEM, because this is for the DAM, which is digital asset management. So in AEM, the websites that you're seeing that are built up on AEM, so in that particular websites, whatever you see the data related to images or the data that is for PDFs or Excel files or PPTs or WordPads, Notepads. So whatever file with any of the extensions like .png, so all those files will be authored in DAM, and from that DAM you'll be able to fetch that images or assets to your pages from the DAM itself. So that's a main important topic. And in this topic, we'll just cover first of all what is DAM, and after that, how do you upload your images to DAM? How do you delete your images from DAM? So what is asset metadata? So because nowadays most of them are asking, even if it is for a QA or even if it is for a content author, so they're mainly focusing on asset metadata. So what is asset metadata? And after that, how do you activate or deactivate an image? And after that, how do you use renditions for the image, and what is the renditions? So all those we'll just cover. And after that topic, we will get into the next topic is like for the component explanation. So component exploration is that we will just go over a few components that are used in our project. So we'll just see like what are the projects, what are the components that you're like you can just get on. Like for example, if you wanted to add an image component, then we need an image and hero banner. If you wanted to author only title, then you need title and text component. If you wanted to author any kind of CTS, then we have a link button. And if you wanted to author multiple banners like sliding towards left and right, then you need a carousel. So if you cover these three kinds of components majorly, then all of the components that you're using in your project would be the same functionalities, and those are the main base for component creation. And after that, as I said to you before, like we have a publish instance. So the topic number 12 I'm talking about. So in this, we have a quick publish and manage publication. So once you author the pages in author instance, if you wanted to make that available to the target audience or public, then you have to do a publish operation and you have to publish a page, and then only you'll be able to see that pages on the dispatcher. That's like how do you publish a page, how do you unpublish, all those we'll just see. And after that, we also have one more thing called page properties. So what is page properties and why are the page properties used? So all those will cover. And topic number 13 and topic number 14 are very important again for the content authors and even for the testers as well. So experience fragments and content fragments. So what is experience fragment? How do you create an experience fragment? So all those we'll just cover, and content fragments also the same thing. So simply we'll just call experience fragment as XF, content fragments or CF in the general terminology of AEM. And after that, for the template that you create, you have different modes like structure mode and layout mode. And how do you implement the policies at AEM for the template and component? We just cover that. And there is a difference between preview or WSM mode equal to disable. So you will just get into that while you're moving on to the topic. So we'll just differentiate between those two as well. And again, topic number 16, topic number 17 is also very important for the content authors because that's where the content authors are involved. So majority of the work being done by the content authors is like 16 and 17. So when you have language copies and live copies, so you will be authoring your data in the language copy, and then you'll be roll out your content from language copy to live copy. So how do you roll out a component? If you wanted to roll out only a component, how do you roll out a component? If you wanted to roll out a page, how do you roll out a page? Similarly, what is blueprint? What is language copy? What is live copy? What is the main use of that? So what is MSM? So all those topics we'll just cover as a part of 16 and 17. And topic number 18 is like, it's also important topic for the content authors when your organization is having the translations. So basically, if you take any of the website, which is available in the multiple countries. So when you say countries, that might be a Germany, that might be a French, India, England, or else US, Canada, or else Switzerland. So like that. So you have different kind of countries, right? So when you use that particular website in any of the countries, like English countries, that's fine. So because we can just show English language itself, even if you go to Canada, Switzerland, English Switzerland, or else America, or else India. So in these kind of countries, right, you can just show your English content. But when you go to other countries like Germany, and then French, and Italy, Spanish, or else other locals like Chinese and all, right? So then what you have to do is like you should not show the English language. So for that, you have to initiate a translation in AEM. Then whatever content you are just authoring, so that will get translated, and that will get translated. So basically, that's the main use of translation. So the company that you're working is involved in multiple countries, and if you're asked to do translations, so this is one of the important thing that you can learn. And after that, topic number 19 is basically for the it's a simple thing only, like how it's a HTML CSS checks for the font size, for the pixel verification. So what's the font size that you're using? So this is not majorly used for content authors, but basically when content authors is having a content testing team, so then you have to guide them like, okay, if you wanted to verify the font size, let's use this extension and just author this. So something like that. So for that, you just have to know like how do you verify these checks and all. And after that, 20th one would be like a workflow. So there will be different kind of workflow mechanisms that being run in AEM based on the organization that you work on. So there are few out of the box workflows we'll just come across. And once you get into the organization, then you'll be having a customized workflows which will be developed by your organization. So you'll be working on those customized workflows. For now, when I'm just explaining, I'll just take a sample workflow, and then I'll just trigger that workflow which is out of the box, and then you just get to know like how do you trigger a workflow. And one more thing is like when you're talking about when I'm triggering any of the workflow, So the workflow process that you're seeing would be common across all the organizations, even if it is out of the box or even if it is like a customized one. But the workflow name that you're triggering would be different. The workflow functionality would be different. But the process of creating the workflow, completing the workflow, everything would be same, even if it is out of the box or even if it is customized by your company. And next topic would be like a tagging in AEM. So for tagging, this is tagging simply if we wanted to talk about tagging, this is referred as a filtering. So when you say filtering is like, let's say you just went into any of the e-commerce application. So you wanted to search for any of the specific product. So when you just search with iPhone, that's all. You just give iPhone and just hit enter. So that when you just hit enter like that, you will be getting a different kind of iPhones like iPhone 12, iPhone 10, iPhone 11. So all those iPhone products will get listed. But specifically you're looking for iPhone 13. So what happens is like in the right side column, you'll be having few filter values, like select iPhone 13 from the drop down and just click on clear, like apply filter or something. Then basically what happens is like whatever products that are associated to this particular value, which is iPhone 12, those products will get listed. So that functionality works using a concept of tagging only. So that for that, how do you create a tag and how do you like configure the tag? We'll just come across. And the other one would be is like a user admin. So in the user admin, so basically whenever you get into the AEM instance, you might not be having a different. If you have a content authors, you might be having a testers, you might be having a developers, you also have a scrum master, you also have a business analyst. So the roles and responsibilities of these 5 people is different. So content authors might have one role, set of roles, and then developers might have one set of roles, and similarly testers might have one set of roles, scrum master and business analyst might have set of roles. So for that, what you have to do is like you just have to manage those users in the AEM by giving different set of permissions for it. So how do you create a user? How do you create a group? So how do you manage privileges for that groups and users? And we'll just come across in the user admin. So this is not a, I wouldn't say this is not a important topic, but whenever your organization is required to, if they're asking you to work on user admin, then you just have to know. And this is most of the questions that interviews are getting asked. So like, have you worked on user admin? So what is user admin? Something like that. So user admin is like, you just know like what is user admin and that would help you anyways. So basically user admin would be managed by the developers or there would be a separate admin guy for AEM. So he'll be managing that user admin access. But it would be nice if you guys also know what is user admin. It's an added advantage. And after that, you also have one more thing called package manager. So what is package manager? So how do you use a package manager? So package manager is basically you content authors, you guys will be like exporting and importing content from one environment to the other environment. So in that case, if you wanted to get the same page from one environment to other environment, creating a page in 2 different environments is a difficult task. So that's the reason what you have to do is that you have to use the concept of package manager. So using that package manager concept, you can just simply create a package from one environment and just deploy that in other environment. And that's the way you just get your content from one environment to other environment. And CRXT is also, CRXT is like you can name it as content repository extreme development environment. So we will just get into CRXT. This is completely a backend. This is not needed for the content authors as well as testers also. But few actions will be performing in CRXT. So we just get to know like where and all the data is getting stored. This is also kind of added advantage as like for the user admin, even if the CRXT also. So these are the majority of the topics, and these are the topics that you are going to learn in AEM authoring sessions. And if you learn this, this is pretty much enough. Apart from this, you might not be having any questions asked apart from these topics. So I'll pause for 2 minutes. Any questions on this one? Topics part. The topics are clear, or do you think you wanted to add any more topics for this one? Gupta, Nidhi, Anuradha, is this clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, yes, Shrikant.
And Gupta, like, are you coming across this kind of concepts in your organization?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so as you're working on, so these are the majority of the concepts every organization would be using. So apart from this, Gupta, like as you're already working, if you feel like Naveen, it would be nice if you just say some other thing also. We'll just cover that as well. Okay. But if it is customized, I can't do anything. If it is out of the box, then definitely I'll assist you with that. Okay. Yeah. So let's get into introduction to AEM. Okay. So first topic is like introduction to AEM. So in the introduction to AEM, so first thing AEM is like AEM is abbreviated as like Adobe Experience Manager. Okay. So before you talk about AEM, this is already we have talked yesterday, but again I'm just saying because of the new guys. So AEM, when you talk about AEM, you have to know first of all what is AEM. So what is CMS? So how does the CMS came across and all? So basically CMS is a content management system. So where you can just manage your websites easily. So basically content management system can be considered as a piece of software that is used for editing and managing your content in your websites. Okay. So using content management system, you can just build up your websites very effectively. So how can you say that you can build up your websites effectively? So nowadays, like what is happening is like even if you go to any of the e-commerce application, the e-commerce related data is getting changed. So if you take any of the application like Amazon or a Flipkart, so if you just land on and if today one product might be on sale, tomorrow one other product might be on sale, or today you might be having one event which is hosted, and tomorrow that event might be changing. So if that is a case is happening in your organizations also, like then what you have to do is like you just have to take a help from the front end team. So let's say yesterday I was explaining about an Apple event that is hosted today or tomorrow, I guess. So in the first banner itself, they just said like, okay, this is a event that is going to be conducted tomorrow, and then when you click on the link, that will take you to that particular event. So today that event might be there. So tomorrow that event might not be there. So what happens is like when you're just showing that event, even after the event is completed, that doesn't make any sense. So that's the reason you just have to remove that event and you have to add a new event. So if you're not using any content management system, then you have to take help from the front-end developer. So front-end developer has to manually or else through the code, he has to check in that, and then he has to give the data. He has to do some modification to HTML or CSS, whatever front-end language that he's using. And after that, he has to check in the code. And again, a tester has to verify and if this is working or not. So that's a very kind of a tedious task, and you have to know the programming language if you wanted to perform that. So for avoiding those kind of dependencies and just to making your tasks easier, so people are migrating to CMS. So that CMS is like AEM. So using CMS, what you can do is like they'll just build up one component for that particular scenario that I was talking about. And then in the banner, let's assume that's a banner component where you have a banner heading, banner image, heading, and then the foreground image, and then the CTS. CTS is nothing but it's a call to action button. So you have all this. So today you'll be just giving the data. You'll just give the like today's requirement, like Apple team, like Apple business is giving you the requirement saying like, hey, this is a event that is going to host tomorrow. So let's author this in the first banner component. So what you'll do, you'll just take the requirement from the business. You'll just give the image. You just author the image. You'll author the foreground image, and then you'll author the heading. You'll author the link, and then you will just give the link where it should redirect to. So that way you will be able to redirect to that event. And once that event is completed, if some other event is coming tomorrow, simply you don't need any technical knowledge for doing these changes, right? So component is already developed. So component is developed by the front end and back end development team. They'll give it to you. They'll give it to the content. They will give it to the testers. Testers will be testing that particular component, and they'll be handing over that to the content authors. So content authors, they'll just give the requirement data based on the business that they're giving. So basically, you don't need any kind of technical knowledge for this one. So what you have to do is like take the requirement from the business, and as per the business need, you'll be authoring and you'll be activating those changes. And automatically, day after tomorrow, if there is any other event, that event will be changed, and you'll be getting that event on the page displayed without any front-end developer help. So that's the main use of using the CMS. And the other thing is like you have many kind of CMS in the market. So you can just say like Drupal is also one of the CMS, SharePoint, Sitecode, and then WordPress. So like that, you have AEM is also one of the CMS. So introduction to AEM. So this is pretty much about introduction to AEM. So why are you using AEM is because using AEM, it has a top class features like, as I said you before, you have a workflows which you can trigger in the AEM. And then you also have a digital asset management. So where you can just store all your images in one place, and you can just fetch those images to to place it wherever you wanted in the components. And also using this AEM, you can just build your e-commerce applications or mobile applications. And also you can just integrate AEM with third-party things, like if you wanted to get the pricing related data in the AEM. So AEM pages you'll be creating, and for the pricing related stuff and all, you just integrate with some other third-party system like SAP Hybris, which is used for order management, or SFCC, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, or else you can just use Informatica. So using that integration, so you can just using the APIs, you can just fetch data from that third-party system to your AEM, so that you can just use it. And if you wanted to store your user accounts, and you also have Adobe ACS, which is Adobe Campaign Service. You can once a user subscribes to your website using his email address, automatically you can integrate that with ACS, and the data will get stored in ACS. And after that, for the usernames and passwords, you also can use any kind of CRM like Salesforce, or you can use ACS. And if you wanted to show something like cookie messages and all, so that is also third-party integrations like TDM. All those you can just use it. TDM, or you can just use that integration. So like that. And for analytics part, if you wanted to know like how many people are hitting your website, so you can just use Adobe Analytics integrating to AEM. So like that, you can just use many integrations with AEM. So this would be about introduction to AEM. So any questions on introduction? Team, any questions on the introduction part?
Actually, I don't have question, but I have a request. If you could speak a bit slowly, as in.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're too fast, and since I don't know anything about it, catching up with your speed is getting a bit.
Okay. I'll just go slow, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any notes where we can refer to when you are presenting? We can actually refer to the document.
Document,
any PowerPoint.
There's no PowerPoint presentation, but the thing is, like, I'll just explain you. I'll just give you one link which is provided by Adobe. So in that link, you can just refer, like, if I'm saying like how do you create a page. So there you'll be having a page. I'll just open from tomorrow. So once you get into AEM instances, right? So I'll just open, and then you can refer that for the data, actual related data. That would help.
But by the end of it, will we be getting certain notes wherein later on, if you want to refer, we could, or no?
Yeah, you'll get the recordings as well.
Okay.
And the recordings also, like, once the class is completed, you will be getting the recording shared by Srinivas, and you can refer that recording as well. And as introduction to AEM, as I don't have anything just to like give in detail, so I'm not giving anything in the notepad. So once you get into the AEM instance and the AEM versions, like starting topic number 4, I just open my notepad, and I'll just whatever topics that we're discussing, I'll just draft it, and based on that, you can just get those. On the same notepad, I can share it with you, and you can refer that as well.
Okay, because certain things we couldn't. Patch up with your pace, because you were talking about integrating third-party tools, right? Informatica, Adobe, and so we are all new to that.
Correct. So what I was saying is, like, I was saying about you, like, AEM is just you're authoring the pages only. Okay, in the AEM you will just author the pages, but if you take any of the website, right? Just let's take an example of one website. Let's go to apple.com. Okay, so if you go to Apple, and if you go to iPhones, okay, so this particular data that you're seeing, right? So everything is like authorable only, which is authored on the AEM itself. But when I was saying about third-party integration, if you just go to view pricing, okay, so you will be having a product related data, right? So Yeah, this one, this data, right? If you take iPhone 13, like color, so if you just any color, like you'll be getting pricing 128 GB. What's 128 GB? So like you'll just get, you're getting this data, right? So like select smartphone or like whatever price that you're seeing here. So this data, this particular pricing will be like hosted in some other third-party system. So from there, you'll fetch that to your AEM. So this is completely taken care with the backend. But you might be having a question, right? Like how, like you're just saying, like you're authoring content on the page, but how does the dynamic data is coming? So for that only, I'm just saying like you'll be getting data from the third-party system. For that, you can use any kind of majorly they might be using Salesforce Commerce Cloud, which is SFCC, or they might be using SAP Hybris for this order related stuff. So apart from that, every data that is like you're seeing this get ready for iPhone 14 pre-order, and all this is like authorable in AEM. Apart from the data that is coming dynamically, rest of the data is hosted in AEM. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you show an example, no, it becomes quite clear. Otherwise, that picture is not formed in our minds.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the example of that. So this particular data like colors and all, right? So these colors and even the pricing and all those like will be coming from third-party system. Okay, so any more questions on this? This is just a brief. That's all. There is nothing much here, but yeah, like going forward, as I said, like I'll create, I'll just open the notepad and whatever topics we're discussing, I'll just jot it down in the notepad, and after that, as you're visually seeing on the page, then you'll just get to know. Because here I'm just explaining you orally, right? So, but tomorrow going forward, if I'm just explaining like how do you create a page and all that, so simply I'll just open the console and I'll just navigate you, right? So for that, the visualization you can just get it easily.
Srinivas, why we need to get it from third party? Why we can't be within our AEM system itself?
So AEM system, you can't get the pricing related data, right? So you either if you wanted to author, you can just author, you can just create a pricing component, and you can, yeah, you can just manually enter the price, whatever price you wanted. But if your organization is having multiple products, like if it is like 100 or 150 products, right? You can just add a price component. You can just add a pricing component, pricing data, like whatever pricing you wanted there. But if you're like, let's say if your organization is having around more than 150 and all, it's difficult to go to one by one product and then just author the data, right? So that's the reason what they'll do is like they'll integrate with some other system. So that way, what happens is like they'll using the APIs, they'll fetch the data from there. So they'll be giving the XML, like let's say there's one product. Okay, now let's take an example one more time. Yeah. So let's say this product itself. Okay, so this product is so let's say if this product is there, so this product pricing is like today it is like 40 or 720 $40 to $720, and this product is not available. Okay, so let's take any product. This is retail. Yeah, so if this product is not available, you will be having a different kind of buy status, right? So the buy status in the sense like product might be sold out, the product might be coming soon if it is a new product, and if the product is not, inventory is not available, then the product might go into pre-order, and if the product is available, then you might be having add to cart, right? So those kind of scenarios when you're just discussing, right? So those and all you can't just author, right? So that has to come dynamically. So that's the reason they will integrate with the pricing. You can just give it whatever pricing you wanted. You can just create one price component. Your development team will be giving a price component, and whatever price you wanted, you can just author there. But the buy status every day you have to manage, right? So inventory will not be same every day. So the stock related data will be like changing frequently, right? So that's the reason what they'll do is like they'll manage all those data in some other system. So from there they'll fetch using the APIs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fetch it? I couldn't get to fetch it using what?
API.
API. Okay.
API, yes. Have you heard about API testing using Postman? So basically what happens is like that API will have a data. So that data, they'll backend developers will be using that, and they'll be able to give us the data in the front end. Okay.
Can
So
you
clear.
explain it once again? I couldn't get you the last
So
part.
just API. I was talking about API. So that's not related to this one, but the thing is like the backend developers, like see, if you have some other system, if you wanted to integrate with AEM, you need something, some connection or some bridge, right? Just to get the data, just to flow the data from one place to other place. So for getting the data from third-party system to the AEM, there is one thing called API. That's a kind of a URL you'll be having. So using that API, your data will be flown from third-party system to AEM. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shrikant.
Yeah. Yeah, Shrikant.
So we've done the demo for today.
Yeah, this is done, and local setup. If you just if you could share that.
Yeah. We will do that tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow. I will share tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. Then yeah, I'll just get started with installation from tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.
It should be enough for today.
Okay, fine. Thank you everyone. You can get in touch with me, and we will start the regular classes after. I will share the software, and we will install it, and we will start the regular classes. Okay.
The classes will be Monday to Friday or all 7 days?
No, 5 days a week.
5 days a week. Okay.
So how Srinivas, like how?
Gupta, this times work for you, or you want to switch to some other India time 6:30 to 7:30 or 7:30 to 8:30? Which one work for you better?
Okay, for me, I want to go for 6.2, not 6.5, because if I go for 6.5, I know that definitely I can't use this whatever here. So it's entirely the screen tools,
Now
everything is different.
everything is same. There is no much difference. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, right.
6.2 is
So Gupta,
outdated. We don't have the software as well.
Right. That's outdated, and moreover, Gupta, I think you also might be soon migrating to 6.5 as
Yeah,
well.
but
But the thing
the
is,
problem is
Yeah.
I'm in training.
I got your point,
Yeah,
Gupta. Your project is on 6.2, but 6.2 we don't have. If we get the 6.2, I will talk about that.
yeah, sure. Or
Okay.
even if you have videos, you can share. All the videos, if you have, you can share me. So you go
6.2,
through and
I have only developer videos. We don't have the this one. Authoring we didn't done at the time. We don't have it.
okay, you can send me the CRXD part and the